Hello everybody and welcome back to reacting to more people. Why? Because I'm lazy, but secondly I also wanted to do like a real live reaction to this video rather than just me watching it because it's better, I guess. Now, this video talks about Chris Tyson, that guy on MrBeast that apparently is transgender now. I don't know. A lot of Twitter stuff, of course it's Twitter, happened over the past, I don't even know how long it's been happening for, but apparently Chris is now transgender. I don't really know about that, and I don't really care, because firstly, I'm not a MrBeast watcher, I don't really watch MrBeast. I mean, I used to be an OG MrBeast fan, like, I started watching his videos before he got famous, like, maybe 2017, when he was still doing the worst intros and all his funny skits, which was funny. I wish he did more of those funny skits, but yeah, I don't really, Chris was part of that time, so I didn't know him, so I do know who Chris is, but, yeah, all this stuff happened recently, and I don't really care about it because, like, you know, firstly, I'm not a fan of MrBeast, I don't really watch him, and secondly, you know, I don't know why people care so much about other people's lives, but I don't know, whatever, we'll watch it.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast's brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining
So what exactly is the drama?
How this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing.
Mid-2020, that is a long time ago. Christ, I didn't even know about this until like a week ago.
In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as, "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech."
What do you mean? March 2022. I didn't even know about this until like a week ago when my friends told me about this. I didn't know about this.
Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic.
What is this? Oh, 2020.
Which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better," yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances.
That is true. He did grow his hair. That's the only thing I really noticed, though. He only started growing his hair.
For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails?
To be honest, I only really noticed Chris's hair growing longer. I don't really notice, like, anything else. Mainly because I don't really watch MrBeast. Or mainly because I don't use Twitter.
Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes.
700,000? I've never seen this.
Go from this to this, while others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now,
Carl has turned him gay.
This was pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he...
Is he what? Bisexual? Okay, well shit, I did not know.
Even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2000...
That is true, actually. Since Chris is transgender, what happened to his wife?
22, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence...
Oh shit, he actually divorced.
Perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2020.
Oh, they're separated. Okay.
Reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his...
Oh, so they are divorced. Ouch, I didn't know that.
Marriage came to
I thought they weren't.
End. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image.
I actually haven't even seen the full image of this.
showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, I know this context is a little boring, but I actually need to know because I actually don't know half of this stuff.
The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies, which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak men times.
That is a little sexual stereotype, and I definitely do not agree with that.
Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision." Chris's response received some positivity such as,
I don't need a monologue of all this. Come on!
Backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house. A life full of difference and being alone.
Maybe you get bullied.
Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery
He does live streams.
Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way.
MrBeast has live streams since when?
While everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
"Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you."
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, MrBeast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
"Hey, nice shirt." "Thanks, dude, nice shirt."
"Hey, nice shirt."
"Thanks, dude, nice shirt."
"Thanks, nice shirt."
"Nice shoes."
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments.
Yeah, that was a little awkward.
However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris.
Oh, I don't need you to monologue more.
Audience value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So you're a
Keemstar
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Okay.
Jakishi was on track to become the next big-
Shut up! Okay, there we go. Honestly, my view on the situation is I don't care, and that's it. Honestly, it's, I don't know why people like SunnyV2 like to always talk about big internet points, because it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't care about Chris being transgender. I don't know how that's supposed to hurt the brand identity in a way. Like, I know people are gonna hate him and people aren't gonna accept it, but you can't do anything about that. You're always gonna have people that aren't gonna accept what you do, so you just have to suck it. You just have to suck it. In my views, though, honestly, Chris being a female, I don't really care. I mean, yes, I'm still not gonna watch MrBeast videos just because of that. Like, honestly, I do prefer Chris's more masculine, more tough big boy personality, but I'm still not going to berate him for changing. It's his own, he can do whatever he wants with his own body, but obviously I guess me and a lot of other people agree that this change isn't really the best for his personality, but then again, he can do whatever he wants, and if he prefers to be a female, then that's cool. A few things I didn't know he was divorced. That's very interesting in my opinion. I didn't know that. And I didn't even know that Chris was even transgender, actually. I didn't even know he was doing hormone replacement therapy. I thought he was just trying to act feminine. But to be honest, I only thought he was growing his hair out. I didn't even know he was trying to be female. So, yeah, a lot of shit happened. But none of it for me. So go on Twitter if you want to look at it. Bye.